thank you very much for such a lovely welcome and such a great introduction, Louise. First thing I'd like to point out is what a good-looking audience you all are. Fantastic-looking bunch of people, particularly this couple here. In fact, I think you'd be interested to know that scientists have recently discovered that the optimum speed with which to scrape skin is 5 centimetres per second. And I think you should all give that a try on each other right now. But not you, madam. You keep your hands to yourself. So, scientists have also discovered that women think about sex just a couple of times a day. I don't know if that's all women or just women scientists. but apparently, men think about sex every few minutes. And I think the sexual tension in that particular lab would be quite intense. But that is the reason that women have multiple orgasms and men don't. In fact, it's an evolutionary safety device, because if men had multiple orgasms, most of us would have died as teenagers, having wanked ourselves to death. Once we'd used up all our seminal fluid from our brains would be deposited into hundreds and hundreds of Kleenexes, leading to a slow but pleasurable death. Eventually, there'd be nothing left but a pale, shriveled husk, after all our essential fluids had been squirted away, leaving women free to rule the world. Thank God for evolution. And for no particular reason, that reminds me of the Incredible Hulk. Because, I don't know about you, but I've always wondered where all that extra mass came from when skinny Bruce Banner turned into the Incredible Hulk. If I was Bruce Banner, I think I'd just have really loose skin and probably something like a large hump on my back and a massive sloshing arse. So, when I turned into the Hulk, it would be very much like getting an erection. And that makes far more sense to me. So, what would happen is, instead of when I got when I got angry turning into the Hulk, I turned into the Hulk when I got aroused. And that could be really difficult on a date. So, I'm in a restaurant, and my date's sitting across from me. Things are going well, and she leans forward and strokes my hand at about 5 centimetres per second. So, of course, I start to get aroused. And then she sort of leans over and strokes my hump sensuously. And of course, I'm fully aroused then. And I become the Hulk. And the next thing, I've turned over the table. And her dinner's gone everywhere. There's red wine and lasagna all down her white dress. And she's just looking really pissed off. And then I get up and go stomping through the restaurant, smashing everything up. And then I leave through the wall without paying. So she has to pay the bill. And she probably won't even ring me again after that. So I'm really glad I'm not the Hulk. But on a more positive note, I've worked out how to make a lot of money from the internet. And I'm going to share it with you, how to make that money. So I found a website. And what you do is you pay them some money, and they teach you how to do this thing called quantum jumping. And the idea is that you jump into another universe, and you find the rich successful, generous version of you. And they tell you their secrets, so you can come back and become rich and successful too. So I paid the money, thought, what have I got to lose? Gave it a try, got there, and all I found was the big issue seller version of me. Seemed like a nice fella. Asked me to mind his spot for a while, gave me his dog on a string, and then that bastard jumped into my universe and shacked up with my wife, leaving me here. Not all bad news. Wife's gone, but live with my 17-year-old stepson, and I can't get him out of his room. He's in his room all the time, and he's skipping college. He just spends all his time staring at his computer screen. I thought he was just doing normal stuff, like playing online games or looking at porn or stalking girls on Facebook. But no, what he'd actually done is he'd launched a cyber attack on a small African country. He's now become their dear leader. So I had no idea he was under so much pressure with all those responsibilities of state, having to do things like organise ransom demands from Western countries and parades in honour of himself, and of course public executions. He's even grown a beard. And that, he tells me, is why he can't get his homework done. But talking of extremes, I heard recently that it's not a Catholic church, it's the Church of England, want to take on Wonga.com, and they want to put them out of business. Now I know Wonga are morally bankrupt, but I had no idea that they were a paedophile ring. Still, they have learned the secret of alchemy. They learned how to polish a turd. They experimented a bit first, of course, and they tried rolling it in glitter, adding bits of bling to it, but it all went rather cheap and tacky. Eventually, they learned how to polish that turd and convince people that 6,000% interest is a good deal. Still, you can't knock their customer service. I was watching the Saturday movie and an ad for Wonga.com came on. It was followed by an ad for an online gambling company, followed by an ad for cheap vodka. Next thing I knew, I'd applied for a Wonga loan, got the money, lost it all on 888.com, drank a bottle of vodka to try and forget the whole sorry incident. Next thing, there's a knock on the door, and it's a gorilla with a ball peen hammer wanting their money with the 6,000% interest, all within 15 minutes. Now that's customer service. I think the power companies could learn a thing or two from Wonga. Well, that's pretty much all I've got to say to you this evening. So thank you very much for listening so attentively. I just have one final bit of advice for you. So if you are driving home tonight and you have a full bladder, remember it's going to be a lot cheaper to wet your pants than pay a speeding fine. Thank you very much.